Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Megan, and I'm back with another book in my Stephen King project, reading one book at a time, chapter by chapter. Today I am talking about Cycle of the Werewolf. I feel like it's only been like a hot minute since I finished Pet Sematary because this was so thin that it didn't take very long to get through. Let's start. So I'm going to be talking about this little novelette, and I will be talking about the movie adaptation, Silver Bullet. So, first off, let's talk about the book. I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really well-crafted book. I thought that the way it was told was also really, really interesting and really, it was different. It was clever. It was something like I've never really read before. So there are 12 short stories collected to make a complete story in this, and each month is a short story. So you have one for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yes, each month has a short story, and so I didn't realize going in that the stories were connected at first. So I read the first 3. And I was like, oh, these are really interesting. There's a werewolf that's out and about and is killing. He comes out on the full moon and he's killing people. So my original thought about this book was that we were gonna take a look at like how a werewolf becomes a werewolf within like the year. That's what I thought the book was originally about, but that's not what it was about. So as I got to, I think it was like April or May, and I started realizing that, oh, all of these stories take place in this small town, and the stories are starting to connect, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then it isn't until July when you meet the Coleslaw family, and that's when the story really picks up, because you meet Marty, who's basically the main character aside from the werewolf in this story, and you learn that the werewolf is, the werewolf's not after him per se. The werewolf is just after anybody in the town. And he goes after Marty, and Marty ends up being the only person that is able to escape from him. And so that's when the shift happens, and you're like, oh, is Marty gonna come back? Are there gonna be other short stories with Marty? And like, so it's interesting because it kind of takes a step back, and then you're left with, oh, like, the werewolf is starting to come out of its cage again every month, but some months it's not killing people, some months it kills animals, and everyone in the town's really, really curious and really, really, like, on guard about it. They're like, what's going on? And then, bam, October happens, and Marty comes back! I thought it was great. I was so excited to see Marty again because, like I say, he's the only person who knows who the werewolf actually is, like, when he's a man. And so it was just so, like, the tension was just building, and the way, some of the short stories were really short, so you're like, ooh, there's a lot of tension building up. It was so good. It was just, you just wanted to read more because they were so small, and you're just like, oh, come on, tell me what's gonna happen next. And I just, you get so into it, and then I found that the writing was just also really, really chilling and really, like, gruesome. And then so, Bernie Wrightson did the illustrations, and I want to see if I can find a good, like, some of the illustrations are just really gruesome. Like, this one is of pigs. I can't tell if you can see, but there's, like, an illustration of pigs being slaughtered, and I'm like, that's gross. Like, there's just some of the illustrations that are just so good that you're like, I feel chilled just reading this, because it's like, these are some really grotesque, like, images, and some of them are they're just so good. I don't know I think I have to go to a different part of the book. There was one where the head was cut off. Oh, there's not that one. Oh no, oh, maybe I'm thinking of the movie, but I can't find, you know when you're trying to find something and you can't find what you're looking for, and then then your camera starts telling you that your battery's dying, so you better hurry up and finish this. So this one's also pretty gruesome. Like, he's like, it's eating its head. Like, it's just so chilling. It was just so creepy. And, like, so the way that it all comes together, and at the end you're just like, what's gonna happen? And I just thought it was just a really, really well structured, a really well written, and a really well visual story. So I mean, yeah, I could have rated it 5 stars, but I honestly don't see myself like rereading it now that I know all of. I mean, maybe in years to come I might reread it, but I mean, it was a solid, solid, solid 4 stars for me, and I just really, really enjoyed it. Now, all right, I'm back because my camera decided to do fun things. So I'm just gonna re-talk about Silver Bullet, the movie that was adapted from Cycle of the Werewolf. So I rated it 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a little on the boring side because the beginning was kind of a slow build up to the to the midpoint, and then midpoint onwards it was faster. Um, you could tell this was a really 80s movie. Like, I know it was made in 1985, but you could tell that it was like a very 80s, like, nostalgia kind of film. But I mean, a lot of people, like, very campy. I think a lot of people like that because of that, but I thought it was very interesting. Um, I like that they named the movie Silver Bullet, and I thought that was like it was a very clever kind of play on words where like they called Marty's wheelchair the Silver Bullet, and like how it ties into everything that he ends up having to do with a silver bullet. So I thought that was super clever, super fun, play on words, play on metaphors or whatever you want to call it. But I thought, or symbolism, sorry. So I thought that was really good. I think one of my favorite things that I really enjoyed about this was that not only was it different, like it was told differently from the book, but it like because it didn't go month by month by month by month like the book did, because I feel like that would have probably been a little bit boring to watch. But they really took us into the family. Like, we meet the Coleslaw family right away. Like, we are in their world. We are learning about them and their dynamics. And so Uncle Red is in the book, but he's kind of a side character. He doesn't really do too much. Like, we see him, but like I say, he doesn't really. He's not a standout character. But in the movie, he was like top notch. Like, he was there for Marty. Like, he wanted to be there for him and do all these things for him, even though he wasn't there for himself in his own life. Like, he was always drinking and like couldn't take care of himself and was always absent, and like that's why his sister Marty's mom was always like very upset that he would just show up and then disappear, show up and disappear. But you can see that he really loved Marty. So I love this complex character that they gave to him, because it was a really standout character, and the actor who played him did a really, really good job, because not only was did he make the role memorable, like he made it memorable in the way he acted too. It was just all really well done. I really, really enjoyed it. What I didn't really like was that, so his sister Jane, they got her to narrate, so it read like a storybook almost. It was really strange. So like it's her telling the story in the beginning, and then you got some middle parts where she's narrating what's happening, and then at the end where it ends on a freeze frame, 100% 80s right there. It ends on a freeze frame on her telling Marty that she loves him, and like a little end narration, and I'm like, this took away from it being scary. Like, this is supposed to be like a horror movie where a werewolf is taking over the town and is like attacking people and killing people, and then that's how we're gonna end it, on them being attacked, but then when they don't die, Marty, I love you. Like, what? I get the sentiment, but it just didn't really hit right. I didn't think we needed that. So it was just very cheesy and very strange. But like I say, I really enjoyed it. I really like where they took the movie, because they had all the elements that we needed. But they just kind of moved and shifted things around, and it still worked really, really well. Like, I still really enjoyed it. So I mean, I would definitely recommend the movie, and I would definitely recommend the book, just because both of them were really, really well done. And I'm glad that I got to read it, and that I'm going to be moving on to my next Stephen King book, which is this heavy tome. It is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. So I've never read this before. This is like a good 650 pages, so I'm gonna be here for a while. I think I've projected myself to finish it for March, so I won't be back with another Stephen King project update for a little while. So this is my last one for 2023, and I'm ending on a banger, and I'm very excited about that. So that is all I have for you guys today. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, a do your thing, and I'll see you all in my next video. So thanks, and bye guys!